pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Doug.
Bob? Here. Nicole?
Here.
Dave? Here. Carolyn?
Here.
Deb?
Here. Visitors, public comment. Yes.
I would like to say hi. My name is Janet Crowley and I volunteer at the fire department. Thank you for hearing my testimony on behalf of Lloyd Bauer to remain our fire chief in the township of McMillan. Becoming a member of the McMillan Fire Department was a pretty big decision for me up until April 14th of 2023. On that date, something happened that changed my life and the lives of others to an unimaginable degree. On that day, I stopped at the intersection of Highway 97 and Stat Avenue. I looked for traffic and didn't see anything coming. I proceeded to cross the highway. To my horror, there was a motorcycle heading north on 97. I drove across the highway and I hit that motorcycle. There are so many horrible things that will never leave my mind, but there are also things that I am beyond grateful for, and one of them is that Lori Bauer was at the scene of that accident. I remember very clear memories what was to follow. Lori took control and worked fast. The couple I hit would not have survived if it wasn't for her quick response and knowledge. Lori Bauer is an excellent leader. She is dedicated to those of us who volunteer under her, to the station, and most of all to this community. She is committed to the safety of us and everyone who is around the circumstance at hand. Lori encourages us to receive the training we need and the avenues to continue our education by supporting us with the tools needed. I didn't personally know Lori before that accident, but now that I do, I am extremely grateful that she was there and that she is who I would want to come to an emergency. I am proud to call her my chief. She is who the whole department has chosen to lead us. In conclusion, as you make your decision, I ask that you consider the fact that none of us plan for life-changing events. If one arises, Lori Bauer is who you'd want by your side. Please take that into consideration when making your decisions. Thanks.
Anybody else? Public comments?
I have a question. Do we have a timeline of when a determination is going to be made in regard to the approval of the fire chief?
We'll be hopefully scheduling another meeting tonight.
Okay. And then, follow-up question, Chairwoman. Who would do I submit a FOIA request to John up front?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Approval of town board minutes, May 12th.
Move to approve the board meeting minutes for May 12th, 2025.
Can I get a second?
I'll second
Any discussion?
Yeah, item 8, the garage heater quotes, and the motion was to renew the cyber insurance, and I don't think that's what you meant, John.
Okay. Nope. Not remove cyber insurance under garage heaters.
Yeah, alright, so. You know what that should be? Let's see, what I have, or let me.
I know
my
we
notes.
presented the proposal
There was some,
for the rebid for the garage heater.
but we also talked something about some part of cyber insurance, whether we were going to not renew it, but I can't remember.
We made a motion for that too.
Yeah, yeah.
So which is it?
That's from the May one, right?
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Okay, so, my notes say the new quote from Rigel was presented for $86.50 for the replacement of the radiant heat. So the motion is to accept the quote for $86.50 from Rigel. So, I guess I would suggest to somebody should make a motion to amend the May 12th minutes under number 8.
What was the dollar amount, John?
$86.50.
But we also decided not to renew the cyber insurance too, so.
Right.
Yeah, that must have been on a previous meeting.
Oh,
Oh, maybe
That must have
it was.
been in April.
oh. Can you look to see if it was in the April meeting
Yeah.
minutes quick? Because otherwise I just wanted to add that as another number.
You just ran it into one sentence.
Then I had one other question
Yeah, it was number 8 on April's.
on the agenda.
Okay.
Oh, for cyber insurance?
Yeah, so, okay, go ahead, Dave.
I'll move that we amend the motion to read that the garage heater quote for $86.50 from Rigel Plumbing be inserted in the minutes of the May 12th meeting.
Second.
Any other changes?
One other one on the motion, under the fire department, that was Jamie Close that was gonna read it up,
Correct.
and that's Kloos, or how's that spelled?
K-L-O-S.
Yes, instead of close,
Where is that?
and that's on the first page,
K-L-O-S, okay.
Jamie Close,
Under the motion. Under the fire
Yes.
department motion.
yes.
So, I made the motion to change this number 8. What do you need to,
Second,
well, it was seconded, I thought, but then, what about the rest of the sentence to not renew the cyber insurance? So,
That was done in April.
Yeah,
that was done in April,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we just
We got it.
axe that on this
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
Okay,
So I got the motion,
okay.
Nicole, do you want to second Dave's motion to change the spelling of close from C-L-O-S-E to K-L-O-O-S?
Is he adding that on there?
Yeah.
Then yes.
Okay, so I got the motion as to amend the minutes from May 12th to strike the cyber and include the Rigel quote for $86.50. Let's see, so that was, and then we'll include that it was, the motion was made by Swenson, seconded by Opitz, and that the motion passed.
For the garage.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes for May 21st.
I move to approve the town board meeting minutes from May 21st, 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. June 2nd minutes.
I move to approve the board meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2025.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right. Plan Commission, Dorothy.
We approved our recommendation for the Dave Fikalski property. He's taking 40 acres out of farmland preservation, it'll go into general ag. That's what the building sites.
Any questions?
and then there was 10 that stayed in the house, correct?
Pardon?
There was 10 that was broken off for the house out of the 40?
It will be eventually, but then this
My
one
goal is
is
to
not.
do the 10 off correct, but first we had to
But the
rezone it.
This is the first step to divide it on a farmland preservation.
This is the rezone, correct? Yeah.
Does there need to be 35 acres to resell the other portion of that?
Right.
So it's unbuilt, that'll be unbuildable land
It's
then?
still left the 40 in farmland preservation and the other 40. It's 37 something. But, and that way, if he wants to sell the buildings off, he can with 10 acres rather than taking 5. The state doesn't feel that 5 acres is enough to warrant a building site and having an animal. Emus.
What are we having?
Yeah, I'm seeing all these signs.
It's an inside
all
joke
over.
and it's not very.
What is that for?
It's not very funny. Emus, you said?
We're looking into the emu ranch, it's an exciting opportunity.
And there you go.
Diversification.
Okay, highway. This week, they're going down to, oh, did you have a question for Dorothy?
I was gonna say, could anybody that's here, can do the bids opening first and, or do they wanna wait around
You
or?
wanna wait a few minutes? Do you mind?
Okay, just
Okay.
as a courtesy to anybody that was bidding on the bidding process.
We got two bids, we got Scott and they are here tonight,
Okay,
and Farmer. So if you don't have a problem with,
that's fine.
okay. So highway, they will be taking the stuff off of man this week. They were down there actually today, but I think the rain got them. So they said they would get it done this week.
Oh,
The barrier?
Still
That's still,
But
that's,
that's
and then, let's see, what else was there? Culverts, I tried to get a hold of Junior, he hasn't called me back yet. Tom Hardinger hasn't called me back yet. Kevin from the county hasn't called me back yet. I'm on the phone with him, I got 2 calls with each one of them easily,
Really?
yeah. So,
Summer's slipping away. Or the spring is slipping.
spring is slipping. So that's where we're at. I'm waiting for phone calls back. But the fence is getting done anyway, I count on man. So she said with the equipment that they had, they didn't know how much they'd be able to do today because otherwise all of it wrecking things, it was too wet. So it's on the agenda for them this week. Yeah. Library, Rod.
I got nothing.
Buildings and grounds, Nicole.
So we had to take the lawnmower in to Eastern Schnell. It overheated. The man said, "You're lucky you didn't have a fire." So I was like, thank God. It is under warranty, but I see we got one of the checks that came from Eastern Schnell, and there's not enough details on it. I do have questions on it. That's in the email that you had sent. So I don't want to approve that check until I talk to Eastern Schnell again. The Ball Diamond has been busy, as you guys can see. Almost every night it's rented Mondays through Thursdays by 4 different baseball teams. And the pavilion is rented almost every weekend now until the end of September. So it's been busy.
Do we wanna do something so that if they come back with the proper deal, they don't have to wait another 30 days for their check? I mean, if we just wait over and just not let John do the check, then we'll have to wait 30 days for their.
I think I was gonna tell them that they have to wait till our next board meeting, but
That's what I would do. You gotta see the invoice, see what the heck we're getting billed for.
So we're already planning on meeting again later this month for the crack fill and dust control. So we could always
Okay.
just send it.
Right.
as long as they give us the information.
Yeah, I sent an email to them this weekend. When I saw that there was just a statement, I don't pay off the statements, but I thought the same thing as Rod, like, maybe somebody knew, and then, maybe somebody has the invoice, and I was like, all right, so I'll write the check, but
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
I'm certainly in favor of not sending it out, rather than paying from the statements.
Right.
Anything else, Nicole?
Nope, that's it.
Garbage and recycling aid.
Any problems with carts, garbage, or recycling? Dorothy?
Awful lot of garbage on the sides of the roads this time.
And I keep
Every
calling.
road you drive by, I
Yep.
thought they were putting a cover on the top of that.
There is a cover, they gotta shut the darn thing. And they don't wanna shut it, because then they gotta open it.
Then let's give them sticks with nails on the end.
I hear ya, same thing happened down at the end of
It'll be
the
our tires, not theirs.
I'll cross that base again.
I
Check
know we
for,
picked it up on our road too, we went down a bunch.
and it's not particular this township, we get the same thing from the rest of them that we're with.
Maybe they're gonna come down on price.
The other thing I had, if nobody else had any questions, the tire recycling, we had 31.66 tons of tires,
Oh my.
and that's down about 7 ton. We've had as high as 70 ton back in 2016.
Is that because of the
The
big tires?
Yeah.
Partly, yeah, we caught that last year. It's $375 a ton to go to Auburndale Recycling. That cost the recycling group $11,872.50, and they generated $96 for anything over 8 tires. So, any questions?
Newsletter, Carolyn,
Um,
our policies and
Yeah,
procedures.
I'm gonna give you all, this is the first, Donna and I are working on this, and it's, so this is just a draft.
Got it.
And so, take one and pass it, please.
Reading.
I'd like you to go through it. And it's, I mean, it's a rough draft here, so, see if there's anything that you disagree with or, think that needs to be added.
Okay.
So you just want us to write on this and give it back?
Yeah, that
Or-
would be fine, yeah.
You know, I was thinking maybe you'd want a digital copy for all of us to make our comments.
Well, you can write your comments on it.
Yeah, but I mean, if we had digital, everybody could just put
Yeah.
their own in.
No.
Okay, or not.
You can get you a digital copy, but I prefer a piece of paper.
I like paper where I can scribble.
Yes.
We're old.
You said it, not me.
Ordinances are cold.
I don't have any updates on ordinances.
Okay, I do. We do have to put a air balloon ordinance in, so we're gonna be looking into that. Also, I had a meeting with 4 chairmen out of the 5 for the Alliant thing, and we are going to sit down and come up with a ordinance for the wind turbines. Also, we're gonna be bringing it up at Western Towns Association, when you have the Eastern and the Western there, and that's gonna be at the end of July, and asking other townships if they would like to join in and fund. And we figure there's power in numbers.
Yeah.
We have 39 townships in Marathon County, and we wanna get everybody on the same page.
Do we know if we want to call the state or hire local members, who the right person would be to contact? Is it like John Spiro's, or is it somebody else? Do we
I
know
don't
the
know.
answer to that?
Town of Day, I believe, has the ordinance from Eau Claire, correct?
Trent Spindler?
Mhm.
I'm not sure what you're referring to about their ordinance from Eau Claire.
The ones that they were coming out with first.
Was it Eau Plaine or Eau Claire?
No, it was the town of Lincoln and Eau Claire
Eau
County.
Claire.
Eau
yeah.
Claire
Claire
County,
County.
okay,
There's a
yeah.
town of
The
Lincoln.
Town of Day has that one, and so I think does Green Valley has the same one. Am I correct?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
But if we
from
want,
what I read, that's what they've got.
but if we want to call our state representatives,
Call
but is there like a specific person?
them, all of them.
All of them? Oh, okay.
Tom
And
Tiffany?
they- yeah,
What was that?
Tom Tiffany?
Oh, Tom Tiffany.
yeah.
Trying to think of who else is.
Yeah, well, I know Spiros has been at some of the meetings.
Karen Hurd is also, so all those politicians should be at that July meeting of the joint
Okay.
Eastern and Western Towns Association.
I just didn't know if there was one that was.
So we're gonna try to get it put on their agenda for the Wisconsin Towns Association meeting, so that we can go that route. We also talked about the township possibly putting out a flyer with a response ripoff to see where the people stand in the township. Something to think about.
Would it be beneficial to do a petition? Go door to door? Would that be more beneficial than a response that way?
I don't know. I think if you put a stamp on it and get it mailed back, then you can hit the ones that didn't respond.
Okay.
You know, because my legs aren't gonna do all of that.
What if you do like a
I have
QR
strong legs.
Well,
I'm willing to work.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
What?
like a QR code? You know, like when you go to a restaurant, you take a
Yeah.
photo.
John, can you do that?
I mean,
I
you
know
might
how
get a
long
lot
It's
of
easy- It's easy to do a
Yeah.
QR code.
responses
That way we know who responded. I figured you would.
I mean, I don't know if I can.
QR codes do?
Well, I mean, the QR code
No, they
won't
don't
allow me
expire,
to know,
unless you have
I
something set
could.
on it to expire.
but it would probably, like, you would have to generate one per,
For each one,
yeah.
or
I
would
mean,
it?
No,
yeah,
if you do
I-
like a Google form,
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
was
you
thinking
can-
like, they
yeah.
could put in their own information, but I also, it would be possible to create whatever, however many people, residents that we have. If we have 1,600 houses, you can create 1,600 different QR codes.
Yeah. Take a
It'll
little
take a little
time.
but.
Well, that way we know who replied,
Mhm.
and then we can hit the ones that didn't.
and if you do like a Google form, you can require that you put their email address in.
Mhm, yeah.
And those who are opposed or who are in favor of an ordinance would most likely respond.
Mhm.
Is it gonna be like one per household, or would it be anybody who's eligible to vote, or how would we do
Who's
that?
ever on our voting list would be my guess.
Then you might have to do more than one per household.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Then the people in the household could scan it more than
Right.
once.
Mhm. Well,
I mean, I have like 3 cell phones, I could do it 3 times if I wanted to.
But you'd have to put your name in, so we would know that it was that you responded 3
That
times.
you were cheating.
Deb wanted it to be, you get your own QR code. I get my own one, and so my wife gets her own one, and so like, I could respond, if I stole her mail, I could
Yeah.
respond for both of us.
So it wouldn't be anonymous.
Correct.
Right. The way that Deb, so I mean,
you got any other suggestions?
no, I'm
Are you wanting it to be anonymous?
willing to do whatever.
Well, I think
you
I
guys
don't
make
think
it
it's
more-
necessary, because they're just gonna be mailing it back themselves, you know?
You got a return address on that, so
But, so I think that Deb makes a good point of like, because if you make it anonymous and like,
Yeah.
it's open for just, you know, some,
I did 10
20
today,
20
I
stuff,
did 30
you know,
tomorrow, I
like,
did 30 the
people can
next
just
day.
scam it, you know, like,
I mean, keep
I don't
it
know if
real
people would do
simple.
it, but.
I'm for wind turbines, I'm against wind turbines and comets. You don't wanna give them any more choices than that.
Well, you'd probably have to give undecided, because
No.
there's a lot.
No,
I'm just saying, people
Pick
may
one.
not
pick
respond.
one.
I'm just telling you.
You give them too many choices, then you have a problem. Because I'll tell you what I found out is with talking to people, you have the ones that want it, the ones that don't, and the ones that don't give a damn.
Or there's the ones that, so do you want that as an option? Do you want 3 options?
No, you don't, I want two. You want two. I'm in favor or I'm not.
You're not gonna get everybody to respond, I'm just telling you.
Then we go door to door after that.
I'm not going to war.
Yeah, you are.
I will.
Yes,
I will. No, I'm saying I will go door to door.
it was a suggestion.
Yeah.
So in the minutes, do you want me to reflect that the board
We've
agreed?
discussed this.
The board agreed that John should start doing mailing this?
There you go.
Well, because
I
otherwise
think-
I'm not gonna do anything, like, you know,
I
want-
think
if
we
it's in the
should
minutes,
do a
then
digital thing, and you're gonna get more of my generation.
I personally would like to
digital.
just like do it on Facebook, the website and all this stuff. I know that that's gonna miss a bunch of
Yes.
other people, and so I
There's
think
a lot of
that,
senior citizens. in
but the
it.
mailing, I mean, what is the mailing for to mail this out, it'll cost.
75 cents a piece, right? Because stamps are
No,
75.
we can
Postcard.
we can send it through the same thing that we do with the newsletter, so it's like
Newsletter,
half.
yes.
Yeah,
But if
But it's
you're
still
gonna,
gonna cost
about
$400 probably, to send it out.
But
Now
you-
to get it back, if you're gonna put a stamp on every single one of them,
Right.
it will cost 75 cents per person. And then if it doesn't go back, then you're just throwing 75 cents in the trash.
After the,
Which doesn't amount to, one of them is 3/4, but when 100 of them just throw it away, it's
postal
gonna be.
rates go up in July, right, 13?
Yeah, well, I've got a check in there for whatever, $750 or to get
Get your stamps.
getting a
out.
stamp. If we're gonna go this route, then
on the overall picture, it's cheaper than having a special election to find out what they want.
right?
End of July.
Yeah.
It's just a suggestion, you know.
Don't
wanna
you
do
think
it.
if they really feel strongly one way or another, they're gonna put a stamp on it themselves, correct?
I would agree.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
if you feel one way or the, if you don't give a shit, you won't mail it in, then you guys just waste
Yes,
75
that's
cents.
right.
But if we really care, if we have an opinion, yes or no, what's 75?
Yeah,
And if you just have a QR code, it costs nothing,
yeah,
other than your
Drop
time.
it off at the clerk's office.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they can drop them off or whatever the case may be.
So
Or they can mail more than one together.
the minutes will have me drafting something, soliciting feedback.
You
on-
shouldn't be glaring, John, when you're saying it.
Soliciting their feedback on wind turbines?
Yes.
Whether they favor it, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
And comments.
And-
Yeah, okay.
I would also suggest that it be, are they in favor of the ordinance or not? Because that's kind of the issue at hand. It's not whether they're opposed to turbines or
We're
not.
gonna be putting an ordinance in.
Yeah.
Then why do we?
So then why do you need to know
Why-
why people care? If there is gonna be an ordinance, why do you need to know who in the township is in favor and who's
Well,
not?
it would be kinda nice to know which way
It
the
would be
board
nice.
is supposed to, what we're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. Cause we're not supposed to have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah. So this is just public opinion is the purpose of
Yep,
this? Okay.
yep. Where do we need
So
to?
then what if the popular opinion comes back that I'm in favor of wind turbines, the
Mhm,
majority, let's just say,
mhm.
then we're not gonna do an ordinance?
No, because then we still,
No, we
we
still
still do the
have to do
ordinance,
an
but then people,
ordinance.
people come
Ordinance.
and vote.
So
Okay.
what are we doing?
It could be like an
What,
open,
how's it supposed to
a
help
special
us?
meeting.
Well, I guess you're hoping for the majority to go the right way, whichever way you want it.
What's your ordinance gonna say?
Yeah, but what's it
You
supposed to
have to
help
have-
us in our decision with our ordinance though?
For what?
Well, there is no decision on the ordinance, we're gonna be putting an
Well, yeah,
ordinance
so
in.
why is it even part of
So,
it?
yeah.
Well, that was what they talked about the other day,
State
to
law.
see where your majority lies in your township.
State law.
That's what we wanted to.
Yep, there's state law.
Yeah, well, that'd be just for knowledge then of that, because it's still, the ordinance is gonna be.
We have to have the ordinance.
Yes, it is what it's gonna be.
Yeah, because I have a whole bunch of questions for those people.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Well, I know maybe next month when they're here again, because I'll tell you what, when they come along and say we're gonna get $10,000 per turbine, who set that amount? Who agreed to it?
So,
And for the roads,
Public service.
who agreed to what they are gonna give us? They got us in this little box and say, this is what we're going to do. And that's, you had nothing to say about it. Well, that's a bunch of BS.
okay, so
That's all I have
John,
for ordinances.
It's gonna, yes.
John needs to do a digital version and we're gonna do a mailing version,
Sure.
right? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, so my plan is to, try and figure out a way to like put this on the next agenda and then I'll come with some stuff that you guys can vote so that it's not, you know, because,
Would there be a way to put it out digitally to begin with and see what we get for responses? Okay, and then what's left, you can do mailers.
We would just have to tie it back to somebody, like if I were to do the digital version, make sure that
You don't get.
I don't get one in the mail.
yeah, I should be able to cross-reference responses, their addresses, and then eliminate them from the mailing list. So the mailing list that I would plan on using, that's probably the easiest to use is the newsletter mailing list.
Mhm.
The other, I mean, to get it off the voter rolls is probably possible.
But then how would you do that? Because we only get one newsletter and there's 2 people that vote in my house. Same for
Right.
you. Some people have 5 people that vote in their house.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be pretty tricky. I don't know if it's worth the extra effort, because you're not gonna, like, the amount of homes that you're gonna touch is probably, the difference is probably pretty small.
Mhm.
Or what if we say, you know, you get one, most people have 2 in their household, and if they need more than that, then they call you and we figure out something.
Don't make it so difficult.
Yeah,
Have a sheet out that says, are you in favor or are you not?
yeah, I'll
And
think
then
of-
comments and,
I'll try and come
let
up
it
with
go.
something, and then, you know, because we're gonna be meeting again in a short amount of time,
Mhm.
Okay.
something to give you guys can mark it up and say, I like this, I don't like this, you know, and then, you know, I'll try and think of like what kind of risks as far as like overvoting, like, oh, you know, I call the clerk and I say, well, I've got 10 adults that live in my house and they're all residents of McMillan, you know, like, do I need to drive to their house and you know?
One
like,
per household.
No, you can't, you gotta, no.
These are the things that we need to kind of figure out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways that the person could do this. Like, I mean, the census goes out to each household, and then whoever fills it out just says this is who, and that, you know, that's a federal thing. So it's, but at the same time, voting is one person. So I don't really know what the best solution is. So I'll try and think of some ideas. I'll come up with a draft of something that we can start digitally, and then.
Like I said, if we
go from
can
there.
kind of keep them separate, then we can mail up the rest.
And that date is set now in July?
I haven't gotten anything yet, but
No, I mean, that client is gonna be here,
they're coming and we're gonna have it right after the meeting.
and at July meeting.
Yeah,
July 12th?
yep.
Okay,
So we'll have our meeting, we'll adjourn our meeting,
yep.
because Dawn isn't gonna be here, and Dawn isn't gonna be taking minutes. And I don't think she wants to take minutes too.
Not that old. We can record it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it doesn't need to be part of the regular board meeting.
No.
No.
People requested it, so we'll see what they got. All right, fire department, all right.
So you want to set the annual report, John put it in the packet, because I sent it to him. Any questions about that first?
On the annual report?
Yep.
Is this the colored version?
Yeah.
I just had a question about the graph, but I think I can get it from here.
Oh, because in your packet is probably black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the graph itself, the biggest blue portion was the EMS calls, and that was 73% of the calls in 2024 were the EMS calls.
And then the fire was
Fire.
8.
Fire was 8%, false alarms were also 8%, and then other is 11%, and that includes hazardous conditions, service and good intent calls.
Okay.
Got a color version for that thing, works a little bit better for the graph. Sorry.
That's all right.
Number of calls from May 9th to Friday, June 6th. We had 7 EMS calls, 1 motor vehicle accident, 1 false alarm. We'll be applying for the DNR grant. It's due July 1st. This is where we get our radios and pagers. And we'll also be doing wildland turnout gear that's needed. Probably a little bit of equipment that's needed. So if you're okay with me applying for that, I will do that. Like I said, this is a 50-50 grant. So we don't pay full price for our radios and our pagers. We got the DNR help us out with that. We participated in Picnic in the Park. We had around 150 kids that went through the stop, drop, and roll until the rain started. We also participated in the Dairy Fest Parade. And I did meet with the individuals for the Dairyland Balloon Jubilee. We've come up with our incident action plan for that day. I will be inspecting the tents, all the food trucks, and working on getting no smoking on the premises with the individuals. For EMS, the new stair chair is here, we put it into service. Community education is June is National Safety Month. By safety month, they mean work safety, health safety, employee safety. See our Facebook page for more information. And we continue to work on planning Fall Festival. We do have raffle tickets available. See any one of the fire department members to get your ticket. So going back to the DNR grant, I think I need a motion for you guys, for me to do.
How much is the grant?
I haven't put any dollars together yet, but our portion that we pay has never gone over $4,000.
And it's a 50/50?
It's a 50/50. So our portion before, DNR before, said be a total of 8. Like I said, this is where we get our radios and pagers a little bit cheaper than what we would have to pay full price for them because the DNR helps with them.
Did you budget for that?
Yes.
By chance, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I remember seeing it, I just couldn't
Yep.
remember.
Need a motion?
I move to approve the fire department applying for the DNR grant, which is due by July 1st.
I'll second
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Any other questions?
All right. Let's report, John.
See, I received a notification of an informational meeting regarding a bridge replacement project on County Highway T, approximately 2.2 miles north of Sawyer Creek Road, between Sawyer Creek and Birch Tree Road. The meeting is scheduled for June 23rd at 11 a.m., and the bridge replacement appears to be scheduled for 2027.
I was gonna say, why didn't they just do it when we did the road?
Got me.
State's involved.
The STP local application window is open. It just opened recently and is open until October 31st, 2025. We are allowed to submit 2 applications for that. Looks like we can request up to 80% funding for a road. The fire extinguisher man came out and checked the fire extinguishers in all of our properties around here. Let's see. A woman named Annie from Com2 Recycling reached out to us. They wanted to partner with us as a collection site for e-waste, such as TVs, computers, laptops, microwaves, dehumidifiers. They stated that there's no cost to us, the town, or our residents.
Is that the one on a point?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
that sounds
talked about that
awesome.
one.
Yeah, I was pretty jazzed, and she said that they will have like they'll give us a box, like a big giant box that we can store in a section of the garage probably, that people can just drop it off, whatever. Whenever the clerk's doing stuff, if they can make an appointment with me, I'll come out and meet them, pick it up and put it in the box. And then when the box is full, I just call them and then they come and pick it up.
You might need a few boxes to start off with.
So the cool thing is that they said that they do like drives, so they'll come out, they'll say, all right, we're gonna do it on a Saturday, so if we just kick it off and say, on Saturday, whatever, July 5th or something like that,
Right.
probably not that weekend, but, you could say, okay, come out here and bring all your junk, and then they'll provide people to like evaluate the junk to see if, because there was a list of stuff that they said that they would not take. I don't remember, I feel like refrigerators kind of thing. So,
Washer and dryers, refrigerators.
yeah, so if somebody comes out here with a washer and dryer, then they'll say, oh, sorry, we won't do that.
Do we need a motion to do this?
Yeah,
would say
like
yes.
it,
Okay, I move, can I do that even though it's not on here?
Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve having it's called e-waste,
E-waste.
Com2 Recycling.
Com2 Recycling, have a drive to collect.
Do you want them to have us being a
I think
collection
we should
site all the
start,
time? And then,
well, I think we should have a drive first, see how it turns out, and then go from there. Maybe do a
Otherwise,
Facebook,
you're gonna be running
Yeah.
constantly.
otherwise do a Facebook poll and ask.
but I think a lot of people will like it.
I was just saying, I have a printer, I have like an iPad, I have
Yeah.
all this stuff that I just need to get
For
rid
the
of.
for the longest time, it's been that you have to pay to get rid of like CRTs and stuff. And so when I was looking at this stuff, they have some sort of like proprietary way to recycle CRTs to turn them into something. So they're making money off it anyway. So like that's why it's not costing us or residents any money. And I think it's a good way to keep this crap out of landfill. So I would be happy to do it. I mean, I'm sure that if it becomes a problem, we can say we don't want to do this anymore. I don't see that we'd be.
I think we should try
I
it
think
for
we should try it.
a drive and
Do a
see how it
drive,
turns
okay.
out, and
Yeah.
Motion
if it's
to have-
not on a Saturday or what, I mean,
So we need a motion.
I make a motion to do a drive with the company that you just mentioned that I forgot to
Come
cover.
to recycle.
Come to recycling.
Maybe that should go into your newsletter in August and have it right after that.
Oh, yeah, that's neat. Good
Because
idea.
then everybody gets it.
Yeah, that's a
Then
good
they'll know
idea.
it's coming.
And you're gonna have to contact them anyway and see what you can set up.
Yeah, I'll shoot for a September drive, and then we'll put it in the newsletter.
As
and
long as
just-
it isn't their weekend.
I was gonna say, don't do it fall fest day.
Yeah. no.
Yeah.
Or even later in August would be
Yeah.
fine too.
Might bring more people
All right, we need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Checks to approve.
Oh, hold on, I got a whole bunch
Oh,
more.
you
sorry.
got a whole bunch
That was, I didn't think that was gonna be the highlight, all right. I received a number of sample wind turbine ordinances and also some information regarding wind turbines and cranes. I forwarded that information to you guys, earlier in May. I received a couple of road concerns, one on Cross Street, stating that the road is very dusty and needs to be completely redone with new gravel. Another one on Abe Lincoln, stating that the road has major potholes and needs to be graded more frequently. And one about bushes on, possibly in the right of way on St. Joe's at Red Hawk, making turning off of Red Hawk difficult.
That's already been taken care of.
Vision
Okay.
triangle stuff.
Yeah,
Kevin went down there Sunday, I think it was,
Yeah.
and he cut that out, so.
There's also one up here the county should be aware of on C and Stott. You can't see west if you're coming north on Stott, by Mullins.
Oh,
Right
okay.
across, right across the north side of the
Mhm.
road. There's a big brush there.
that is something that the plan commission always used to
We
do.
used to do it.
Yep,
When you're not doing anything, drive around, make a note.
We were notified that we received, that all three of the innovation planning grants that we submitted for were awarded to us, totaling $139,000. That money has already been deposited into our bank account. We applied for EMS, fire, and administration, which is clerk and treasurer. After I got the notification, I had some follow-up questions, so I sent them over to the email address on the notification thing. And then Jim Peely from DOR called me back. He stated that there are no start or end dates for the grant, so we can start as soon as we want, and it sounds like we can use it as late as we want. There are no key dates or milestones to be mindful of, so we don't have to spend there's no like end date for the grant.
What did it total? Did you say 168?
139.
Oh, 139.
There's no DOR approval needed before entering into contracts, no documentation necessary to be sent to DOR, no audits for the program. All we need to do is just, we get the money and then we move forward as proposed in the submission. So,
We don't have to send anything back to them on how this money was spent?
no.
I wonder if we didn't spend it all.
We should have applied for more.
Well, yeah, I was telling Donna that I think that this program is ripe for abuse, but
Oh,
that's not for me to say, but like, in my opinion, I don't think it's, as a Wisconsin taxpayer, I'm not super satisfied with how it is.
That's not good.
But, you know, all we can do is administer our money
Yeah.
properly. If we have leftover money, we'll send a check back, because that's what we should be doing.
Well, we asked them if we have to send the check back first.
Yeah, I mean, if we can justify all the expenses, then
Yeah.
I'm fine, but, you know, I've gotten a couple of quotes from, consultants, so I'm gonna, look through those, I'll send those to you guys. I think I might have sent them initially when I got them, and then, I figure we'll put this on the next meeting agenda to kind of, figure out the next steps for that. I don't see any reason to kind of wait around and hang on to the money. And then,
John, I have a question. So you have a consultant, and they come in and talk to you about whatever you're gonna have them talk about. What if you don't agree with them? Do you have to take it? You have to take their recommendation?
I don't believe so. I sent them,
I would
I'm gonna
make
send a
sure
question
about
into DOR, and I'll get an answer before
Yes,
we
absolutely.
move forward, but I'm pretty sure that it's just do this thing, like have them evaluate the situation and see if there's a different way, a way to be more efficient with your money.
And then after that, if they make recommendations, there's a grant you can apply for if you decide to take the recommendations, am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, and that one is still like, they don't have a firm opening update for that. I think he said July. I don't expect that our consultants will be done super quickly. I think in the proposal, I think I put a time frame of like 6 months, I think, from start to finish. So, maybe we would see something, or no, 8 or 12 weeks maybe. So maybe something in the fall, but we'll see. We received two zoning permits, one on West McMillan and one on Elm Tree Road, and one new address was issued on St. Joseph's Avenue.
Now, can we do the checks?
Yep,
You've been busy, John.
very busy.
So I move to approve checks numbers 20717 through 20760, except for 20753. We would be removing that one. That's for Return Schnell. And then for the ACH, it's 250501 through 250513.
Can we get a second?
I'll second for discussion.
And is there any discussion?
What is it, Angie lease? For $100?
Pavilion, I
It's
would
a,
guess.
yeah, it's a pavilion.
Angie lease?
Yeah.
Is that what-
Yeah.
I don't have a list of names I can look by. Give me one
And
second.
then the other was, why is there a difference between B&D liquid waste and Decker sanitation? It's almost twice the,
We had to get an emergency pump from Desert on Memorial Day weekend. The buzzer went off and it was rented the next day. So I had to get it pumped. And I couldn't have it backing up. I had no option.
The thing is, what was the level in the tank? Did you ever get that back?
I did. I just got it back today. And he
so
said,
they double dipped us.
well,
And then
B&D waste is the fire department septic.
and I had to call Decker for here.
We use B&D for our septic over at the fire station.
So that was 150
Correct.
and Decker sanitation.
I called for an emergency and it was on Memorial Day.
Memorial Day weekend on Monday.
I had no other option. I couldn't, could you imagine what would have happened if it would have backed up?
Yeah, but don't you have a way to check those? I mean, we always had it, we always
The
had
alarm
to
went
check.
off.
Huh?
I mean,
Yeah, but that's back to where my question is what was the level of the sewage in the tank when the alarm went off? Because there should always be a reserve section of the tank.
Yeah.
And that's what my question was on. It's not that you're wrong for getting it pumped, it's just in the future, because if it did not have any reserve left in it, then we need to readjust that float switch. And we did play with that float switch last fall because it got hit and got broke.
so
So,
they pumped 3,500 gallons and the tank sizes are 39. So that's where that left off.
so that needs to be readjusted.
Because otherwise, if you would have had a whole lot of people, you'd overflow.
Yeah.
It would have backed up.
Just a
Because
question.
you 300
I
gallons.
understand.
Clarification.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not getting at the rest of the garbage. It's
Because we don't know. how
because
many
we don't want to
times
have to do it in
they'll
the
back.
future.
Right, right.
So it needs to be adjusted, it needs to be brought up.
And when do you plan on burying that?
Possibly this week, depending upon the weather.
Okay.
All right, there's a motion on the table to accept the checks as presented.
I just have a question on the one that Richard Schnell.
We're holding that.
You're just gonna hold it, right?
Yeah.
You're not denying it, okay, I just wanted.
We need more clarification on
Oh.
that because I was told that it was under warranty when they fixed it. It's still being $800 is a lot.
Doesn't sound like warranty.
No.
Yeah. And then you had asked me about the lease, or Angie Lease is the name. Give me one second. Yep, she had rented it on
So
531.
that's the name?
Yeah, that's her name.
Yeah, okay, just a question.
Yeah, no?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, anybody have any questions on the budget? All right, bank reconciliation. Down you're up.
Okay, we've got that in front of you. Anybody has some questions? I did go to the bank and I did move the 16,000, the fire department, to 16,238.72 as a money market for equipment fund, fire department, that's the name on it. I re-entered all except the checking account for a money market advantage, the new program, so everything will be getting 3.45 instead of the 1.5 that we're currently getting, so everybody's, we did all of them, so we should be getting quite a bit more interest on all of that stuff. And
For
that's
the fire department one, that grant you just got, is
Yeah.
that in this 28?
No,
Okay.
no,
Or is
that money was put in the checking account, so we moved it into that, money market, yeah. So
Is that
that's,
on here?
Yeah, so the fire department.
no, this is May's,
Okay.
and now we're
I
renewing.
was gonna say, but I
That's
don't see it.
No, that's in June,
Okay.
that starts in June.
Got it.
So, yeah, and it's for 6 months, so
Okay.
we're all, yeah, so, it'll be on next month, all of it will be on next month, with the new interest rates for everything. And then the tax account one is the only one right at this moment that I couldn't get back on, and that's a big one. The reason I couldn't get it on to the new Advantage program is because it's considered new money, so all of these accounts have had deposit, except for the tax account, obviously I'm not collecting taxes. So the suggestion was from the bank, and John and I talked about this as well, within the last 6 days, we received the 3 grant monies, which was $130,000. If we made a $10,000 withdrawal out of the checking account of that money and put it into the tax account, then they'll give us that interest rate on the whole tax account. And then, at some point, we'll take that 10,000 back out and put it back in the checking account. But I need a board motion to do that, and so that I can get that better interest rate. Someone would gotta come up with 10,000 new monies,
Well,
a deposit type thing.
couldn't we put that whole 139 into the tax savings account? To
You-
draw that interest and use it as we need it? Because it
You
gets transferred
could,
back into the checking
You
anyway.
could, we could do that as well, because you can't get it on the checking account.
Right.
Yeah, so you could put it all in there, just go ahead and make a notation that we've done that, and so we can get it back out at the proper, so that at the end of the year, if we haven't paid out consultants or whatever, we know
That
we
we
need
do.
to hold
Yeah.
that for that purpose. So
Okay.
just so you know that. If you wanna do the whole 139, right, John? 139?
138 or 2594, is that the
Yeah.
deposit?
No,
139.
they came in
Oh,
in
that's
June.
in June.
They came in
Yeah.
June, so they won't be on this one, they'll be in the next one. I think two of them were at 48 and one is at 43.
Yeah,
That's what I believe that's what they are.
but we can make the motion to do that,
To
right?
deposit into the tax savings
Into the
account.
tax savings account.
Just make a
Yeah.
motion to say all
So-
3 of those grants, so
Yeah.
that we do have exact money. we
Keeps
can
them
see
all
in
clean
the
and
account.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna get transferred back to the checking when we need it anyway, so we might as well draw some interest if we can.
Yes, you can, because you can't.
Do you need any other transfers done?
Well, then we'll probably need some more money to pay bills, if we take that out of there.
Yeah. I'm
We
looking
got,
at it now.
we got the quarterly transportation aids, but I'm not sure we'll have enough depending on what the bills.
Yeah, I think I'd feel more comfortable with just transferring $100,000 from the main to the tax savings.
Of that money,
Of the total that we have in there now.
Which is what?
So right now, today,
It
we
has to
got
be-
$217,000.
it has to be a new deposit, so I'm within the limit because it was deposited in the last 6 days. So as long as they call it new monies, any new stuff coming in. So whatever was in the checking account won't qualify, but if I use part of that, and if you wanna do it all, or if you wanna do 100,000 of it, and then we don't have to make a transfer to pay bills, quick. Is that what you're getting at?
I guess, I don't think that
It's for
I,
only 50,000.
what?
Just, can you just do them, do the 139 and then do whatever, then the other, make them separately, so is that what your concern is?
Well, my concern is I wanna make sure all the checks, you know, if we have enough in there for, if we take 139 out of what just came in, that we'll have enough to pay bills.
Yeah, so if we transfer $139,000 from the main to the tax savings, I'm gonna want $39,000 transferred back to the main, so the net would be $100,000 transferred
Yeah.
from the main to the tax savings.
To cover our outstanding checks and the new bills that have been paid, and any payroll that's coming up in court.
Okay, we need a motion to transfer $100,000 from the
So
checking
moved.
account to the tax savings account.
So
Yeah.
moved.
Second.
So
All
we'll
in
do it
favor,
that
say
way.
aye.
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 Okay, so I just need to call her tomorrow and she'll take care of that then.
Okay.
And then we can get a lot more interest on
Are
that.
you going, John, are you going to be tracking, each grant dollar separately when we get invoice on that? That way we'll know, like, let's say we only spend $12,000 for you and then $50,000 for the fire department and $35,000 for EMS. Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna be tracking that?
So I think that, I don't know that QuickBooks is necessarily set up to like, I can look into it to see if there's, so, in my regular work, we get a bunch of grants, okay? And so I have to track them separately, but they're all commingled at the bank account. So my accounting system is set up where I have fund number 1, number 2, number 3, and I can charge stuff to that individually. So that would be nice, if I can do something like that in QuickBooks, I will. Otherwise, what I'll do is just like track it on an Excel spreadsheet. I'll make 3
Yeah,
of
and
them.
that's fine.
Or maybe I'll just make one with tabs and then, you know, because we're allowed to, if me and Donna, so for example, the administration one, I expect that Donna and I will have some of our time that will be expended to the grant because we'll have to sit with the consultants. Same thing with the fire department, there might be
Right.
some expenses internally here. So I'll track all of that stuff in that Excel document, and then I'll figure out a way to like, where, like, I'll try and figure out a way, like maybe create a new expense line or something.
Something along those lines, so that way we can see how much.
Yeah.
I think would be helpful.
Yeah, maybe I'll just create,
Just on the financial statement every month.
yeah, maybe I'll just
Yeah.
create like an innovation planning grant expense,
There you go.
just a big blob
Yeah.
that captures all that stuff. And then,
Break it out into the 3 areas though,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Okay. That sounds good.
Anything else? So transferred 100,000. That it for that? All right, we get to open bids.
Do this.
This one is for the Scott Construction.
Oh, look at that.
I'll keep them blue.
All right. Got your sheets up?
give me 1 second.
How are you gonna keep track of this? You're gonna do a spreadsheet again like we did for the
Oh.
bids?
You know, my fingers crossed.
Okay, see,
The total came in
what's the big number right away?
at $653,907.
653907.
Yeah, that's the total package for bids for all the roads.
907?
Yep. And Liza opened partners right away.
Who did we have do chip seal last year?
Warren.
Was it Farmer? 2 years ago?
I do have two in there, because I have one for the Sizzler aggregate, and then I have one for using, Bugar's aggregate. So there's 2 different prices.
All right.
Yes.
So one is 489,105. And the other one, that's the same. $481,352.
Is the lower one Bugars, or which one?
Pardon,
Yeah.
what?
Which one goes with which?
The lower one was Bugard.
Okay.
What I would like to do is table this so that you and I can sit down and go through all of these. You got time tomorrow? Tomorrow afternoon?
Yep, morning and
Because there's a lot here.
Yep. And then, what, we gotta prioritize, not necessarily.
What's that?
I'm gonna think about that.
You're gonna table
Well, you
it.
can study it overnight.
I have to stand up, it'll put me right to sleep.
I have copies, we'll go through it all tomorrow. What time tomorrow?
12:30.
That'll work.
So are you just looking at like price per road, or what are you doing?
Yeah. If you look at these, there's a lot.
Okay.
We'll be here for hours if we start doing this tonight.
Is that tabled to that meeting that's coming up, that special one?
Yeah, we can do it, when is that one, the 24th?
I think so.
Boy, that's a special day.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy.
Oh, yeah,
And this special day, Carol,
24th?
of June.
Why?
My wedding anniversary.
Ours too, and we're just 10 years apart.
That's all right.
Yeah, June 24th.
Well, I hope you guys bring us cake.
What time?
So,
What time?
June
6 o'clock.
24th at 6.
6?
so do we need a motion to table this, or?
Yes.
Okay, I move to table the award of the chip sealing bids until June 24th
2025 at 6.
at 2025 at 6.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And it's gonna help,
Huh?
because some of this stuff has to be done.
Before we do the road
Right,
anyway.
right. That was over.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done before.
Yeah,
That make us-
that's why,
Yeah,
And what you have to keep in mind is, with these prices, it does not include the base course.
correct.
So that has to also be added in there. All right, alcohol license renewals.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the gifts, I appreciate it. I like the pen too, and the letter opener. Alcohol.
Yeah, so I've got the posting of the publication that I put into the newspaper. We had renewals from Belvedere and this and that, for resource recovery, and then the new one was We Love Ballooning. I haven't heard any responses from anyone opposed to these people getting liquor licenses.
But wasn't the We Love Ballooning only limited to the 2 days?
Yeah,
Not year-round? Like, I thought we had talked about not
Yeah,
having
but
that for the full
for
year.
the location that they have it, it's only gonna be for the 2 days. That's it.
Right, but do we need to call that out?
They already know. They know.
Okay.
You said 3 years or 5?
3.
3. Okay, so this is,
So it was resource recovery, right?
Yeah,
And Belvedere
yep.
in
Yeah,
and
We Love
the
Ballooning.
balloon.
So I move to approve the liquor license from July 2025 to June 2026 for Belvedere Supper Club LLC, Resource Recovery Team LLC, and We Love Blooming Incorporated.
You get a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I have a question on for the way that we've worded this now, those licenses will be good for 1 year, including the balloon place. And the balloon place is having different, I don't know.
Well, they're gonna have to have it on Sea Acres.
Right, but they've already done some balloon blowing up or inflating or whatever you wanna call it, to try to build interest in their
Oh, when they
event.
put the Kawa?
Correct.
Yeah, but they didn't have a bar there.
Right, they didn't have their permit there yet, but the thing is now they will have their permits, so now they could, right? We're good with that? That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
see where they're going to, it's for the balloon company, isn't it? They're the ones doing it?
Yeah.
It's not for Kenny Sea Acre, it's the Balloon Fest. That's what it's for.
But what I'm saying is we're giving them a year-long permit now, instead of giving them their,
On Kenny's property.
correct.
For those particular days.
Yeah, for those 2 days is what.
That's it.
We said those 2 days though, I mean, it's worded in there for 2
Well, yeah,
days,
it needs
or,
to be, it needs to be,
I believe their application would say that, am I correct, John?
I would have to look at their application to see if it says that.
I think it's 11th and 12th. or something.
11th and 12th.
If it isn't on the application, put it on the application.
Well,
It's simple.
I think the cleaner way would just be to issue or approve the liquor licenses for the full year for the other two, and then for the balloon place for the 2 days, or put in 2 buffer days or something, you know, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to amend my motion. Alright, let me start over. I move to approve the liquor license for July 2025 through June 2026 for Belvedere Supper Club LLC and Resource Recovery Team LLC, and then also a liquor license for We Love Ballooning Incorporated for the dates of July 11th and July 12th
Now can we have a
of
second?
2025.
Now can we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're having Balloon Fest, and we're gonna have beer, and maybe wine.
Yeah, I talked them into getting the full, they can, so with this, they can serve all the liquor, all the wine.
Whatever they want.
Yeah, because, it was, so with the beer license, you can sell malt beverages, but like, if they wanna sell like White Claw, apparently that's not.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't fall, it falls under like a liquor, or, so I said, you know,
That's a little.
just be on the safe side, just like, if you wanna sell some claws and stuff, like, just get.
Oh, they got those, like those canned margaritas
Yeah.
and all kinds of mixed drink crap and.
Yeah, this way they got all the
They got
bases
it.
covered, they can sell whatever they want.
Okay. Volkowski rezone.
Okay, so I move to approve the Bukowski rezone. Can't say that 10 times fast.
Can we get a second? Can we get a second for discussion?
I'll second it for discussion, yes, yes, yes. Because I didn't quite understand everything, what it is you're doing here.
To rezone.
I know of that, but just for a rezone only.
Rezoning the 40 acres from farmland res to general ag, because if I want to split up the property, if my son wants to buy it separately, whatever the case may be, I have to have 10 acres or more in general ag in order to make it zone general ag. If I break off 10 acres and leave 30 or so behind what Rod was alluding to before, then you can't have the northern part of farmland preservation, and it doesn't benefit me, because in an LLC tax as a partnership, you cannot get the farmland preservation credits anyway. So my point is just to do it as, because farmland pres is just general ag plus some with the restrictions. There was another alternative where I can still make it happen, but then I had to make it basically a 5 acre, 2-ish to 5-ish acre home breakout, but then I can't have animals. Or at least that's my understanding from, it was more restrictive to having animals.
So there, whether it was in farmland preservation or not, does any tax credits have to be paid back?
No.
No. Okay.
The only
Very
way
idea.
that you will get caught on that's only farmland preservation. If you go to rural resident, or go to rural lots, and then there's a big penalty.
Right,
But to go to general ag, there's no.
no
that's-
payback.
That's gone.
Yeah.
But the town does have a small
No, a large fee.
You do know we're kidding, right?
Payment in emu eggs.
Yeah. All right, any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, mulching on the grounds near the pavilion and park.
So I have the Clark Landscaping Construction bid from when we talked on, was it last week? Or was it 2 weeks ago, right? I can't remember. I don't know if anybody else had any estimates come in. I shouldn't say bid, I should say quote. Did anybody else have any other quotes come in? So basically, what this is I'd like Ken Clark Landscaping to redo the mulch in the pavilion area, which would include the island that I call, it's where the flowers are that Clyde takes care of, and then around the playground and around the gazebo, and then out front here I'd like to put rock, and then we donate the flower or the plants and people could take them from there.
You're not gonna leave the flowers in front?
No, we don't, they need to, no.
I'm just asking.
Here's
Yeah.
Bruce Snow.
Okay.
I'll hold it. There's also, when Ken gave me this, he said there's an area that's uneven in the walkway that needs to be raised, and he could fix that too, but he quoted that out separately in the event we didn't want to do that. So I'm focused mostly on the mulch, not the mowing, just the mulch. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but the labor cost would be $23.50.
What is the, can a person that is isn't Casey considered an employee?
He's an employee, but he also has his own business.
I know, but is that kind of a conflict of interest here? I mean, I don't know, I'm just asking.
Well, you had the opportunity to get other numbers, and did anybody get any?
Well,
I
that's
asked one individual and he was full.
Yeah.
But I think it's just everybody's packed right now, and
That includes the mulch.
No,
It's,
that doesn't include the mulch, does it?
no.
that's just the mulch around the trees and whatnot.
The trees, the island, those pine trees and trees by the park.
Does he have an idea of how long it's gonna take him?
A day or two. Not very long.
He'll bring in his own employees. He's got 2 of them.
That's a lot.
What happened to the high school?
16 hours?
What happened to the high school kids that were hired to?
If you can do it in less than 16 hours.
We don't
we'll
have-
borrow
I
He
mean-
said
them.
2 days, he said two, she just said you take.
I
2
said a
days.
day or
Okay.
two.
Day or two, so
Yeah.
that's 16 hours. So if you take that and divide it by that,
I'm guessing it's gonna be more than 16 hours.
So I have the high school kids who have not done landscaping before, other than me telling, can you fluff the bark? Like, they haven't, they'd have to remove it, and, I mean, I can have the high school kids do it. I'd have to have, the recovery center haul in and drop it off in a load, because I'm not donating our trailer to get a trailer load. So I guess it's up to you guys what you guys wanna do.
What you gotta keep in mind is if you got 16 hours times 3 people doing this.
I'm indifferent, I just know that it needs to get replaced, so you guys
So
tell me what you want.
Did you initially say that you just wanted to mulch it, huh?
Yeah, just the mulch, for sure. So we'd get a bill for the mulch, which would be cheaper for us because we'd have a different rate. And then his labor is $23.50.
So do we know how much mulch we're getting?
I'd have to ask him for how much mulch, but
I thought it was 80 yards.
It's quite a bit.
So we got 80 yards, how much of a yard?
That I don't have.
Anybody get any mulch? What do you pay for mulch? How much a yard?
Oh, let's find out.
I just had work done and I don't remember what it was.
There'd probably be a different price what the town can get anyway.
So he's getting it out of where?
The
Myers.
resource recovery.
For resource
Yeah, that's
recovery.
what we got ours.
Whatever color we want. I think the light color, like what
So
we
it's a
have.
natural stuff.
Yeah.
Hi, hey, how much is the mulch down at resource recovery if the town buys it? 22 a yard,
22,
would be right in there.
22,
How many yards do they need?
80.
That's it, 40? 40, 45 is it? But you need finer chips too, he said, for Clyde's area.
Which is the
Hold
island.
on, let me put you on speaker. Talk louder.
So, over in the area by Clyde there, you have to move a foot up thinner because otherwise it's gonna be like really rough looking in there. So that's a double ground stuff, so you're gonna need probably 10 yards of that, and that costs a little bit more money, but he doesn't charge much more for the township.
So we got
So I got
$1,100.
About that.
5,000 in chips.
Need for anything else?
He said, being at a Fort Town McMillan, he'll honor the same price he did 4 years ago.
Can't ask more than that.
If I bill it through me, you're gonna pay $4 a yard more. So
Well,
that's what I'm being charged.
yeah. Any questions for him?
No.
Talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
So that's about that. Did we have a second?
Times 3.
Did we have a second?
Do we have a motion?
No, I don't.
Nothing yet.
So I guess I can make the motion. I move to approve Clark Landscaping for the mulch, for his labor for $23.50. And this would cover the pavilion in the park area.
And I'll second it for discussion. I think we're grading the lines here between contractor and labor that's working for the township. That's my concern.
Okay.
I definitely, I mean, my way of looking at it, I definitely think when we go through with this, that we need to know ahead of time what week he's going to be doing the contracted work, so that if there's any injuries or anything that gets done, that it doesn't get billed to us, and he
He's
says
got
that
his
he's
own.
gonna but he can say that, oh, I wasn't doing that, I was doing this job, so that we're paying for it versus his insurance. I mean, that's the money line that I see with an employee doing contracted work, is the fact of when is he doing the contracting work and when is he doing our
Have
work.
somebody else do it. I mean, if you're that worried about him,
So I think I want to.
Just the honesty thing, I guess, is to keep everything honest, everything up and up, so a resident calls, hey, why did you do this, or how did this work out, and this is how it did, what did you do for a fail-safe that just doesn't happen?
He's got
he's gonna be doing it on, well, he mows usually during the week. He'll be doing it on the weekend, him and 2 guys.
certificate of insurance.
He's got that, so. And he's just complaining how much it costs him every month.
Yeah, that's the cost of doing business.
Oh, yeah. So we got a motion on the floor with a second. Any more discussion? You gonna do roll call?
Sure. Rod,
No.
Nicole,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Carolyn,
Well, I do think it is a conflict of interest. But at this point, it needs to be done, so I don't know.
Yes or no?
Well, you're gonna vote yes anyway, so.
Well, then I'll vote yes. But you need to vote.
Well, I do worry about these kind of things, as you know. I know. So no.
Okay, motion carried,
Debbie, you're a yes?
yes. And we need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Wait a minute, I just got I had this whenever, I have someone else that wants to apply for a position here.
Yeah, so do I.
We're
I would
gonna-
like to set up a meeting. I didn't know we needed to do it during the meeting, I thought we could do it after. We need to set up a meeting date,
Okay,
so, for interviews, you take one for it. I got one for Rose. And I talked to that one too.
so we'll have to have
A date.
Another day, huh?
Another day.
yeah.
And we're gonna have one for highway and two for fire department. What about Wednesday at 6 o'clock?
This Wednesday cannot.
Okay. What about next Monday?
No.
How about Thursday?
Um,
I'm gonna be out of town. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and
Well, who's
Sunday.
gonna take care of
all
garbage?
right,
Come
on
on.
Tuesday.
I'm out,
Next
well, they can
Tuesday.
take care of their own.
No,
Next,
that's burger permit training.
Wednesday next week.
oh,
Tuesday.
what's that date? I gotta look.
What
It shouldn't be
when are
that
you
tough.
leaving town?
The 18th.
Wednesday?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Morning at 4 o'clock.
So the 18th of June.
That's,
I'm sorry, that's EMS training, which can't be up there, you know.
The 18th, is that a Wednesday?
The 18th of June is a Wednesday, but I can't make it, so.
What day can you make it, Nicole?
Thursday,
Okay, then how about the 19th?
that sounds good to me.
At what time?
I don't know what time is gonna work for you, Nicole.
what day is that?
The Thursday.
It's on a Thursday. What day's your anniversary? 24th. We don't have to worry about that.
That's the next week. You already got a meeting scheduled.
Yeah, we got that one, it's gonna be busy.
I mean, we can do a Saturday morning if you guys wanted to, but.
Yeah.
No, Dave's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone all weekend.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
How about the Thursday, the 19th? Will that work for you, John?
Sure.
So we have multiple people who applied it?
We got one for highway and two for, fire department.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the 19th, Thursday.
Yes.
And,
6 PM.
At 6 PM,
okay,
and then the 24th at 6 also.
okay.
And that's what we're gonna do with the highway bids.
Yeah, the crack fill, dust control,
Yeah.
what else?
When do we wanna put these roads on? Do we wanna do that on the 19th then, or do we wanna do that on the 24th?
19.
Sooner the better.
Yeah,
That's kind of my thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do the roads first, then we'll go into closed session. I gotta sign that.
Did you get a copy of that?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
right.
sent it to us. If I just sign this one, it's good, John?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, so motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're done.
Okay, okay.
John, I'm sure you I read this, and I said, Josh, that's not what I'm doing here, and it isn't. It wasn't
signed this one already. The way about it, I signed, right?
Oh, regarding, regarding the thing.
Kind of goofy.
I know it.
Yeah, weird. I bet you that where you signed is probably.
Where they're supposed to sign.
Oh, like Colorado.
Okay.
Asking for anything and everything, and we're in our.
That's why I wanted everything digital.
Okay, 24/7.
Okay. Okay, do you have an email address? For the.
John.
I don't know, you just stamps or are you going to? Yeah, but that's gonna be easier.
Regarding.
I mean, it's
Any